internet sweetheart, Dale. No, that's not quite right. What's that? Join your master of ceremonies, Dale no, that's too far. I got an idea. Join the guy who knows things about stuff. This is the Generic Live Show with the guy who knows things about stuff, Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. Thanks everyone for joining us here on a Sunday. It's Sunday the 11th, 12th of November 2017. It's Dale Campbell here with you for the Generic Live Show. We're doing it for Geek.io. Thanks for joining us here on a Sunday. It's good to be here as per always. Including the longest introduction in human history is that bumper. So there you go. Thanks everyone for joining us here on a Sunday with Dale Campbell. Thank you everyone. Quick PSA at the top of the show proper. Thank you everyone for coming out for Extra Life, the 24-hour gaming marathon for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. We raised over $330, $335 last check to be specific. There's still time to donate if you want to go over to geek-io.net/extralife. I streamed onto the Generic Live Show Twitch channel, and I believe most of the time is up there. If you want to go to twitch.tv/generic live show, my recordings are up there. Thank you everyone for taking part, who took part in the Generic Live Show quiz show that happened as part of Extra Life. You can check that out up on the feed now. That's on the Generic Live Show feed and at youtube.com/generic live show. You can check that out up there as well. It was a fun thing to do, even though I still am getting, I feel like I need to do a retraction on one of the questions that happened. On the thing, there was a hot button. There's been a hot button issue over the last week. There was a question on the quiz show about Futurama and how Futurama, the archive of Futurama, is moving to Sci-Fi Network. I phrased it in such a way that people took it as misleading. So it was a hot button issue for a lot of people, but we moved on, and I'm so glad that there was only that one hot button issue. It was my first time ever doing a major quiz show. I believe CJ, Rachel, Ral, Delbert, Josh, Kerry, Daryl, Shayla, and Raul Gaza. I think I said someone twice. We're all there, and then me. So there was a lot going on in there, but it was a bunch of fun. So thank you everyone for taking part. Thank you everyone for listening to it and supporting us on Extra Life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's start this show off with a quite heavy topic. You know, this show gets serious. When we get serious, we mean business. So a few months back, let's take us down memory lane, shall we? Because I feel like it's needed when it comes to this individual, we need a little bit of a previously on Generic Live Show for this. Previously, so I put after a contested episode of the Generic Live Show, which will make it into the best of the year, I'm sure. There was a rant that I went on regarding the Trump transgender ban that Trump was trying to get through. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Dale, I thought you put a ban on saying that T-word on this show. Well, I'm lifting that ban for one night only. One night only. It's Dale Talks Trump. Ba, ba, ba. That's a phone ringing. I don't know where the... Where did that sound effect come? Alright. Those people that don't listen to the pre-show, I've had technical difficulties all night, and when I have technical difficulties, they make me loopy lala. So, there you go. For those people that are not watching the pre-show, yeah, technical difficulties. I don't think most of that was captured on the stream, thank goodness, but anyway. So, I'm lifting my Trump ban. For one night only. And maybe, I don't know why I'd say one night only, but that rant that I went on about the Trump transgender ban made me realize, you know what, let's not talk about this man all the time. So now we're going to be talking about him. He's touring Asia. And it's been a year since the election, ladies and gentlemen. The 2016 hotly contested election that shaped actually most of 2016 was a year ago. Bum, bum, bum. There you go. Happy anniversary, or not, you know, there's that. It's been a year since Donald Trump won the election. I know. This time, 2016, everyone was in overdrive after a year of following a campaign crisscrossing the country to primaries and caucuses, debates and conventions, visiting big cities and small towns ahead of the political roller coaster of the election itself. Boy. Election day for us lasted several days as we worked around the clock covering the vote results in the aftermath. No, I'm not here. Sorry, I'm reading from ABC. We did work around the clock here at Generic Live Show HQ. Me and CJ Boat from Geek.io, we did an election day stream. It's still available, readily available for some reason, even though my audio quality on that stream is not the greatest. You can still watch it. It's on Generic Live Show? Yeah, it's on Generic Live Show YouTube. You can watch that. We spent about 6 hours on the stream, so there you go. The day after Donald Trump's victory, about 90... so this person recounts, Zoe Daniel recounts her time whilst over there in the elections for celebrations of the election. So and then of course, election day for everyone was different. I've found that election day for everyone was different. This person spent it in Pittsburgh. We spent it here at HQ, and I think there was when I got to work, is when I left here, shutting everything down from the stream. I went to work, and by the time I got to work, Mr. Trump was giving his election speech, his victory speech, and the tone in our lunchroom is normally, and I work in a relatively busy retail establishment, so it's normally buzzing, even at 7 o'clock at night when this speech was happening. It was like, and I don't want to use this turn of phrase because it's not really a turn of phrase that's good, but it just felt grim, and it just felt like a graveyard. And that's not like our work, and I think the rest of the day was impacted by that, and people were on edge that day. It was kind of like, well, we don't want to kind of work because it's like we don't know what the future of the world was going to be. Now, it's still been an adventure, but it's definitely, I feel like it's moved along. We'll go to that. Check out the year in Push Alerts by Slate. So you know what? Let's do that. Let's take a look at that. But there you So the and let's go back to election day though. There was a series of statewide and local contests across America. So the race was to the next governor in Virginia as well. There was a lot of little. There was a lot of little races that were taking place at the same time, as well as all of this, because there was also local stuff as well. So let's do this. Trump was elected as president. Let's pause. Let's hit pause. So Saturday was Vice President-elect Mike Pence was taking over the Trump transition from Chris Christie, who was still suffering from the Bridgegate scandal at the time, and there is that whole thing. And then the next day, Hillary Clinton came out for her succession speech. There are apparently some hefty things. The Trump. Let's move to some heavy ones. So fast forward to December 9th, which was November 8th was the the election. Let's move to Friday rather, December 9th. U.S. intelligence agencies have high confidence Russia acted covertly to help Donald Trump win the elections, officials said. Now, we haven't gotten a full reading on that, so there is that, and then we have the inauguration. Donald John Trump placed his hand on 2 Bibles, has taken the oath of office. He's now the 45th President of the United States. That was Friday, the 20th of January. There you go. And shortly thereafter, I think this is us local time here, I think. Or all these times, by the way. So they might sound a bit funny for American listeners. Let's continue on. Friday, the 27th of January, President Trump's temporary ban on refugees established religious tests. Christians from Muslim natures will be given priority. Then we've got Friday, the 13th of February, Monday, Michael Flynn has said to resign as President Trump's national security advisor, facing accusations of his dealings with Russia. Then we've got the President Trump to talk to the joint session of Congress for the first time on February 28th. Then we've got in their final days, Obama sets our aides spread intelligence Trump associates Russia. Then the Senate has confirmed Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court, ending a bitter year-long standoff over Antonin Scalia's seat. As the tragic passing of Antonin Scalia, I think that was last year, and Neil Gorsuch, I can't say that name, I said it once, to the Supreme Court. That was April 7th of this year. Then we've moved to O'Reilly out at Fox. That was on around April as well. Then we've got the Comey fallout. So starting May 9th, Tuesday, May 9th, President Trump has fired James Comey, FBI director. A White House statement said, and so Jeff Sessions' recommendation. So that was the whole fallout with that. Then we had the Manchester bombings that happened on May 22nd, 2016. Or was that 17? That was 17. Sorry, my bad. We got Amazon buys Whole Foods. Don't know why that's in here. The Comey fallout result. Let's get to the end here. This is a scrolling bar. James Comey plans to testify that the testimonies happened on June the 7th. And then we got something called the Moosh. Sean Spicer results. Oh yeah, resigns as press secretary, telling President Trump he vehemently disagreed with his choice for new communications director. As well, that's right. We had someone came in. President Trump decided to remove the Moosh as communications director, as requested by new chief of staff John Kelly. That is July 31st. Then we had September, which was the awful hurricanes, which unfortunately started with Hurricane Harvey. That was August 25th, 2017. That basically there was a stretch here of hurricanes. As we skip ahead, Hurricane Irma, of course, that happened over the course of I think it was from the 6th all the way through to the 10th. So from through to the, I think it was the Tuesday, I think it made landfall on down south, but it was impacting Florida from Saturday the 9th of September. Then we had widespread NFL players are expected at games in response to President Trump's criticism. On Saturday, September 24th, that was when they were taking knees at games. Then we had, unfortunately, the Vegas, the gunman at Las Vegas. And then we have the Harvey Weinstein cases, which is not great. And that happened on that started happening on Friday, the 6th of October, on Friday the 16th. And then right recently, the 30th of October, which was Monday, President Trump's ex-campaign chairman Paul Manafort and former business associate Rick Gates were told to surrender to federal authorities. So there you go. And that was a whole slate article basically just reflecting the first year of the Trump presidency. So now back to reality. So back to Election Day Tuesday. We have to take our break here, but basically, it was a defying moment. I will say, it was definitely a defying moment. Now, I don't really follow up on much of this news. For good reason. So apologies if I sound a bit vague, but it's been a year, folks. It's been a year. T Gamer points out, it's been 1 year and we're still here, no civil war yet. Well, there's not gonna be a civil war. I think we're in the clear for now. I'm not hedging my bets, because if I do, everyone's going to come back at me and go, hey, remember when you said? Alright. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's Dale Campbell here with you. Should we? No, we're not going to do the Trump tracker. Oh, and that's right. The birth of the Generic Live Show Washington Post Live Trump tracker. Da-da! This was where we were following Trump's 60 pledges that he made during the campaign. That was a segment on this show that was born and died, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how that works for you. I think that Trump Tracker was the first segment of this show to be born and to die on this show. I don't think we've ever retired a segment on that show, and I think that was the first one. Huh. Alright, there you go. Well, hey, fun times all around. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's Dale Campbell here with you. Well, excuse me. Electronic cars are a thing of the future, but they might not be a thing of the future for a while in the land down under. We'll tell you more as we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. It's a pleasure as always. It's 10:23.
Generic Live Show is sponsored by Tweaked Audio. With 7 styles and 7 colors, there are mic'd and non-mic'd options available. Designed to sound great with music and talk, and engineered for durability. All options come with a lifetime guarantee and a noise-reducing design. Compatible with all of your devices, even those weird Windows phones. We have an exciting offer just for you. If you use our coupon code GEEK at checkout, you'll receive a third off your order plus free worldwide shipping. Head on over to tweakedaudio.com to check out the range. And when you're ready to order, use coupon code GEEK, that's G-E-E-K, GEEK, at checkout for a third off and free worldwide shipping. We thank Tweaked Audio for their support.
Want a custom computer? Want to run the latest games at the highest graphics with no lag? Want to build a computer that can make and edit movies or videos like them they're professionals? Pugent Systems has your solution. Go to geek-io.net/Pugent to build a brand new custom computer. We'd like to thank Pugent Systems for their support of the Geek.io network.
We're here to give you a big dose of genericness. This is the Generic Live Show.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. It's a pleasure as always. We're doing it for Geeko. Thanks for joining us. I think that first segment of the show was quite quick. I didn't cover everything I wanted to talk about, but it was good to get out of my system. I'm not referencing it now because that ban, guess what? It's back in place. Anyway, thanks for joining us here on a Sunday. Now, electronic cars are a thing of the future. The future is here. That's right. So you might ask yourself, you might know about electric cars, but do you really are they prominent where you are? Well, they might not be prominent here in the land down under. Rather than growing, Australian sales of electronic cars are in decline. They represented 0.02% of all car sales in 2016. That's even lower than that in 2013. In contrast to Norway, the country with the highest levels of electric car adoption. Almost 30% of new cars sold there in 2016 were electric. Why Australian motorists rejecting electronic cars? Well, I think it's just, well, high prices. It's that easy. Well, that's only part of the answer. Research obtained through questionnaires obtained online, because of course they are, says that there's not really... it suggests that there's a comprehensive network of charging stations, particularly on popular inner-city routes, is essential to encourage drivers to go electric. It seems even more important than subsidizing the cost of the cars themselves, apparently. Go figure. The average Australian motorist drives 36 kilometers per day for all passenger vehicles. This is well within the range of modern fully electric cars that can go more than 150 kilometers for the models on sale in Australia, which is actually less than the Norwegians who drive more than 40 kilometers per day. Norwegian drivers also enjoy the highest proportion of recharges in the world, but not the other circulation in the world's leader is Estonia, which has a recharging station every 50 kilometers. That's huge. I'm just trying to put that into perspective. One in every town that has a population of at least 5,000. So they have to have a population of 5,000 before they get a recharging station. So how does a recharging station work? Do you and it doesn't say in this article, and I would imagine that you would just put your it doesn't take your card. You can't get free electricity from these things, so you'd have to put your credit card up to it, I imagine, and you wouldn't be able to yeah, I wouldn't imagine. Yeah, that's weird. How would you release electricity from a charging station? How would you stop it? It's not like petrol. Oh, is it like petrol where you have that? Or I'm doing this weird motion, and you can probably hear clapping on the audio. Gas trigger handle thing. Does it have that? Does it have that? That's what it is. But California's, of course, has laws against regarding electronic cars, because of course they do. Ensures that 40% of Californians who live in rental properties could recharge their cars at home, or recharge their homes in their cars. As Australians are increasingly living with high-rise developments, ensuring car parks have capacity to recharge cars overnight will be critical. Well, that's true. How would you encourage that? Have sell your own charging station? But again, how would you do that, and how would it be different from a public charging station? Because the public you wouldn't want one of those gas pull trigger thingies from that's what it's called now. It's called a gas pull trigger thingy. Dale 2017. But it's what is it called? That's bothering me so much right now. But it'd have to be a separate machine. You wouldn't be able to use the same machine. And most car parks, at least the ones I've seen here, at least have a different level of a different kind of structure. But that's weird. Alright, so recharging networks. Without that recharging network, like other countries have, Australian motorists risk to be left in the rearview mirror as the rest of the world drives electric. Well, there was a pun that no one wanted ever. Driving forward! But, alright, as we continue Driving forward, as we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, well, we're gonna get you up to date. Well, we told you last week about an election campaign, a state election campaign that was happening here in Queensland. Well, we're at the halfway mark already. Believe it or not, turns out, a 3-week campaign, we're at halfway already. So go figure. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's Dale Campbell here with you. It's a pleasure, as per always. We're doing it for Geek.io. Thanks for joining us. It's 10:32.
Oh, listener, it is with a heavy heart that I come to you with a word of warning. Dark things are on the internet. I know, like me, you thought it was all funny cat pictures and sneezing pandas. But apparently there is also pornography, digital movie downloads and such. And people are accessing them secretly using ProXPN. To make matters worse, they're using our promotion code GEEK20 to save money while doing so. Even the regional sanctity of online services such as Netflix and Hulu are being bypassed in this way. That was not the intention of Geek.io offering you a discount using GEEK20 at checkout. So please, only use GEEK20 to save 20%
This
at
Geek.io
checkout for
podcast
ProXPN
network program
if you're
is sponsored
going
by
to use
Audible.
it for secure and safe interneting while banking and watching the YouTubes.
They're the leaders in digital audiobooks on the internet. Choose from over 100,000 titles across all types of literature, including fiction, non-fiction, and periodicals. Try audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan for free. That's right, free, which includes 1 audiobook credit per month. After your 30-day trial, your membership will renew for just $14.95 per month, so you can continue to receive your audiobook credit per month, plus members-only discounts on all audio purchases. If audiobooks aren't quite your thing, well, that's okay. Audible also have a variety of radio and TV programs and audio versions of magazines and newspapers. There's something for everyone. Check out geek-io.net/audible for all of the details. And we thank Audible for their support of the Geek.io podcast network.
You finally found the most generic live show. This is the Generic Live Show.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. We're doing it for Geek.io. It's a pleasure as always. I'm Dale Campbell, and it's good to be here. Now, I was talking about at length this last week sidebar. I apologize. I have this resting face on the stream this week that's very like that's what is that noise first of all? Like it's very firm and like very serious and concentrating. I should loosen up when I'm on ad breaks. I just can't help it. A, because of the meltdown that happened before the show, and 2, well, it's just me. But thank you for joining us, irregardless of serious face or not. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. So, Queensland, we have another election, and I don't know how I feel about covering another election because it's so soon. And like I was saying in the first segment of this show, I was talking about another election that I covered that was labour intensive. So, and this one, well, seems less labour intensive. Kind of, kind of is less intensive, but still kind of is an election. So there you go. So this video from the ABC kind of sums up what I need to say about this. But I will talk about this afterwards. So there you go. Let's do everything you need to know about the Queensland election
This
in a minute.
is Anastasia Palaszczuk. She's Queensland's Premier. This is Tim Nichols. He wants her job.
If you're in Queensland, pretty soon you're going to have to vote. So here's what you need to know right now.
There are 93 seats up for grabs. Labor or the LNP need to win 47 to form a government.
There are some new seats this time, and the one where you're living might have a new name.
Neither party got enough seats last time to run things on their own, so Labor's needed some of these guys to get things done. Expect to hear a lot more of this in the next few weeks.
What I need next term is a clear majority.
And a lot more of this.
Queensland, a great state, but it is going nowhere under a do-nothing Palaszczuk Labor government.
The big unknowns: how popular minor parties like the Katters, One Nation and the Greens will be.
Queenslanders can't just vote for one person anymore. Everyone needs to number all the boxes on their ballot. That'll have a big impact on the results in some seats. It might even see some of the smaller parties getting their own seats.
If the numbers are tight, the minor parties could hold the balance of power and end up deciding who forms government.
There you go. We also, I know this is just me playing bits, but we actually have another bit that actually explains that preferential voting in greater detail, because I know it seems like a little bit of a foreign, pardon the pun, foreign concept to a lot of people, because it's kind of like, well, we're just used to ticking one box for this dude and or girl. I don't know why I said that up. Guy or girl, you never know. So that that was like that in the last Queensland election, where it was you had to kind of pick one person and kind of go with them, but that's not the case anymore. It's preferential voting. So we got a little bit of a sounder to explain that a little bit too, which is the second part to what you need to know this election.
This month's election is essentially a popularity contest, but this time the rules have changed and you can't just pick your favourite. You'll need to think about your second, third, fourth and fifth choice and number every box on your ballot paper. It might just influence who wins the election. Let's say a group of people want to request a song to be played on ABC Radio Brisbane, but can't agree on the artist. To win, they need more than 50% of the vote. Beyoncé gets 30%, Taylor Swift gets 25%, Justin Bieber the same, and Nickelback only gets 20%. Nobody's gone past 50, so that means we're off to preferences. Nickelback is eliminated, and preferences from their fans go to the other artists. But we still haven't reached our majority yet,
So at this point, I don't know if he says it in the thing, but at this point, Beyonce's at 35, Taylor Swift's at 30, and Bieber is at 35.
we'll need another round of preferences. The end result might be a surprise, and it shows how the new preferential...
So then Taylor Swift drops out, and we're left with Beyonce... Bieber winning, with Beyonce with 45 and Bieber with 55.
voting system could work on election day. But unlike the radio, you can't turn it off or change the station. You'll be stuck with the government that comes into power for the next 3 years. So do your research, choose wisely and make sure your vote counts by numbering every box on your ballot paper.
Yeah, they're known as donkey votes here. I don't know what they would be called anywhere else, but that's known as donkey voting if you don't number them properly, or you don't do the thing properly. If you don't vote properly, they're known as donkey votes here. I just love that term, because that's just an amazing term for anything ever. Is a donkey something, donkey vote. So that is the new rule, because I believe if memory serves, it's been a hot minute. the last Queensland election was that you could either vote one for the person you liked, or you could do the preferential voting. This time, you have to do the preferential voting, which for a local government, I think the local council elections that were last year as well, and certainly the federal election, you had to do preferences. It's preferences all the way down the line till Tuesday, and you that's kind of an impactful thing. Like, you kind of shapes up the independent artists and independent candidates, rather. Independent artists. They're now artists. they're now known. The artists formerly known as politicians are now the artists formerly known as politicians. Dale Campbell. I want that on a t-shirt. But anyway. So, and I was talking last week about how minor parties, and this kind of happened in the US election too, where minor and third parties can kind of impact where the election kind of goes, because seat by seat, third parties, particularly out in rural areas, there's the Katter Australia Party, where they have they kind of have a conservative and a farming background, and that kind of appeals to therefore a candidate representing that party would win that seat, and therefore would sit in Parliament, and kind of would, their votes, while they would win the seat, their votes kind of help form the majority government. Now, if that party had enough representatives in enough seats, they could hold the power as a third party, but they don't. So that's why they're not considered to run the government. That's why they would have to vote preferentially. That's a new word. They would have to put preferences to one of the major parties, quote unquote major parties. So that's how preferential voting kind of works. Now, this week, meanwhile, LNP leader Tim Nicholls was going to emulate former Queensland Premier and political stuntmaster Peter Beattie and swim with sharks for cameras. Yay! That kind of didn't work out well, did it? And Mr. Nicholls spent the week diving at the Cairns Aquarium, which is always fun. Meanwhile, there were protesters outside Airlie Beach because to protest the Ardaldi mines. There you go. There's that as well. So here we go. Here we've got, and I think Palaszczuk was up here as well. Memory serves. What's this audio? Oh no. So that doesn't have audio. So Palaszczuk was up here with local member Curtis Pitt, helped the campaign up here. Here's the Premier speaking at the Donor Rail Manufacturing. Oh, no, that's not her speaking. You know, captions, you shouldn't lie to me. Because lying is bad. So, there's that. So the Cairns, everyone was in Cairns this week apparently to help up here, which is good, because I'm not complaining that people aren't up here, because that's, you know, it is highly contested up here this time around, because there was a particular event that happened that I don't really want to get it into on the air, because that can get me in a little bit of trouble, but there are contentions up here that would warrant the premier and the opposition leader to come up here. So, meanwhile, Rob Katter, I think that's the son of Bob Katter, announcing Katter Australia Party's candidate for Hitchinbrook, back from a jet ski. Ta-da! So we've got politicians riding on jet skis. We've got one diving with sharks, and we've got another one looking at turtles, starfish, and not turtles. Just saying. When the opponents started a yellow ribbon campaign against the government's management of the Caboolture Hospital. Mr. Beattie would promptly War 1 2. Huh.
Wasn't investigated.
There we go.
And your government found him $12,000.
I'm not going to argue with you, but thank you.
But I know the facts.
I've got to go now.
So you don't know the facts?
Thank you.
Sorry?
You've had your say, ma'am.
Are you security?
Yes, we are. But you've had your say.
Okay. I don't want to, for audio listeners, and for video listeners, because do not showing the video, these gentlemen are not security. They're in bright pink dress shirts. They're not security. So there you go. But this election is centered around some key issues, like I was talking about last week, where I think you have to just vote for an issue that is relevant to you, I guess, in terms of this particular election anyway, because it's not necessarily, like I was talking at the top of the show, and that first segment kind of clouded this show, but it kind of, you have to vote on the issues that are important to you, because this is unlike that US election. This is kind of an issues-based election, and it's centered around a coal mine as well. So you got to take that into consideration as well. So you know what, you just have to vote for what you want, kind of thing. Unfortunately, I will be, but you know, you just have to go with the flow. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's Dale Campbell here with you. Well, bugs. That's bugs with B-U-G-S. They're in your house. Believe it or not, they're in your house. What is that? How about we don't do that? They're in your house, but we have a way. We don't have a way to get rid of them, but we can tell you why they're there. I know, not really productive, right? We can tell you why they hang out in popular places, and it's up to you to fix it. Generic Live Show, telling you why things are there, but not actually fixing it for you. Coming up right after this, as we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. We're doing it for Geek.io. It's a pleasure as always. It's 10:49.
This Geek.io podcast network is proudly sponsored by Think Geek. Think Geek is the biggest online retailer of all things geeky. That's right, everything geeky. And they stock the biggest brands in geekiness, like Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Minecraft, Legend of Zelda, Marvel, Game of Thrones, DC Comic, and Geek Labs. And they sell a whole bunch of things like collectibles, electronics and gadgets, t-shirts and apparel, gifts. They sell it all over at Think Geek. And they have free shipping on orders over $75 or a flat $6.95 US standard shipping to all places in the US. So when you're ready to check out the range over at Think Geek, the online geek superstore, just use our link to go over to Think Geek over at geek-io.net/thinkgeek. That gives us a little bit of a kickback on what you buy. Don't worry, we're not stealing your shoe size or asking you for a blood sample. It's okay. We're only getting a kickback from what you buy. We don't actually see what you buy from Think Geek. Join in, geek out, Think Geek. We thank Think Geek for their support of the Geek.io podcast
Hello, dear
network.
listener. Here at Geek.io, we're always happy to give some support to the little person. So today I'd like to let you know about a small internet startup called Amazon.com. Go to geek-io.net/Amazon to check out their large catalogues of books and magazines. I believe they may have some other items for sale too, records and videotapes perhaps. Using geek-io.net/Amazon lets them know you discovered them through us, and I'll throw a few pennies our way. Thank you.
Generic Live Show is sponsored by ProXPN. ProXPN is an uber secure VPN that believes you should be able to use the internet how you want to, by encrypting all traffic that goes through it. It keeps all of your data private and your IP is completely hidden, so your location is secure. Keeps you safe from stupid cable 6 strike rules and more. With everything going on, ProXPN is a good investment and is very affordable, and won't break the bank. Keep your traffic safe. Go to proxpn.com and use GEEK20, that's GEEK, number 0, GEEK20, for 20% off the already really low price, starting at $6.25 a month. We thank ProXPN for their support of the Generic Live Show.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Amazon. Amazon has all of your needs for all occasions. Amazon stocks a large range of pretty much everything. Everything from automotive to baby to computers, payment cards, groceries, health and personal care, and everything for Amazon Kindles, ebooks, movies and television, magazines, office products, and stuff for your patio, lawn, and garden. Hey, they even sell sports goods. If you're into sports ball. If you're ready to check out the range at Amazon.com, use geek-io.net/Amazon to help out the Geek.io podcast network. We get a little bit of a kickback through our affiliate link there. That's geek-io.net/Amazon. Amazon. Everything for every occasion. Everything for every occasion may not be the official slogan for Amazon. Some products not available in all areas.
Out of 10 fictional doctors say that you should start your day the Generic Live Show way. This is the Generic Live Show.
Thanks for joining us. Take two. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. We're doing it for Geek.io. Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure as always. This is the Generic Live Show. I just realised how much better the stream is. Ooh, that is a rocking tune though. Rocking tune, right? Royalty-free music is good. There you go. I highly recommend it. That is, I get these from the Audio Library No Copyright Music claim. That one's Piano Rock Instrumental Hide. So there you go. There is that. Da-na! There is that. It's a rockin' tune. It's a hell of a thing. I don't know where I'm going. Bugs! Speaking of which, speaking of rockin' tunes, how about them bugs? Right? You know bugs? Aren't they great? No, not really. Bugs, they're a thing. Fookme69 says, "You are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." Oh, thank you. I guess that's a thing. I guess, I don't know. I'm not a woman, but hey, I'll tell you what I can get. So, bugs in your house. We're not going to tell you how to fix them. I'm going to tell you that they are there in your living room, in your basements. That's where insects hover the most. Now fix it. No, just kidding. Everyone has uninvited guests in the home from time to time. Most of us have a bunch of tiny roommates who don't pay rent. It's called bugs. To be specific, bugs of all shapes and sizes share our homes. Plus spiders. Spiders are a thing, right? Research published in the journal Scientific Reports explains what kind of housing aeropods, like insects and the like best. That's a weird way of saying that, but English is great. If you don't like insects inside your house, you may want to turn your housing into a suboptimal for them. However, for the most part, loving your place gets the bugs is based on how it is built. For starters, bugs prefer bottom floors and basements. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who climbs a flight of stairs unless you're a centimeter tall. Right? Those people that are centimeter tall, they're great. Fook me 69. I'm Australian. So there you go. That's got me. Carpets keep insects snug, like a bug in a rug. Oh my god, this Newsweek article is killing me. Dust mites especially love them. However, the authors of the study suggested that other insects might be trapped in them. And they find that the diversity of insect species in common rooms, that is where the party is. I'd hardly call it a party. A party of bugs? That's definitely not where that's at. The scientists analysed 50 homes for the structure and the layout, as well as the activities of the humans living there. Compared them with the number of diversity and never bugs and they observed living there. They looked at things like book lice, gnats, ants, gall midges, and carpet beetles. There you go. The biology hiding inside the built environment, in air quotes, has been increasing investment to scientists. According to a 2001 survey, recent news, I did say in the pre-show it was a slow news week, humans spend on average 90% of their lives indoors. I don't believe that. Why would... What? That doesn't seem right. Microscopic organisms to make their bodies spur that, something about their immune system being good. So there you go. There's much you can prevent by creepy crawlies coming into your space, and considering how much time we spend inside our homes, as the author suggests, quote, severe as connection to the outdoors, serves as a connection to the outdoors. There is a video it's going to be playing. Why is that surprising? So bugs. I still recommend the there is that. This is not going to do that thing that I love so much. It's absolutely going to do the thing I love. It's just music over text. I still recommend those. I have the kind of I have the kind of I have the DIY pest stuff I do as well. We also have like cockroach baits and that sort of thing, and ant baits. They work really well, actually, surprisingly so. So I recommend just those. That'll feed off most things, I guess. Here's your handyman thing. Handyman kind of tip for the day. Go to the grocery store and buy yourself some stuff. Change it name to Fook me 69 says I speak well for an Australian. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I try? Question mark. I just do. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's Dale Campbell here with you. A thing we like to do every November is break down all of the some of the Black Friday deals for you, and kind of tell you what's the best and what's the worst. And we'll do that right now for you, right after the break, as we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. We're doing it for Geek.io. Thanks for joining us. It's 11:01. Pause with rain.